Hi, I'm Jack, and my capstone is about Native Americans in sports. The broad end of my spectrum for the capstone is more civil rights for Native Americans, and then in the middle, more it's Native Americans in sports, and then on the narrow end, which I'm here to talk to you about today, is the Native American sports names. And that is what's starting a lot of controversy, and I'm here to give you information and tell you both sides of the controversy. Well, to start, I did a little bit of information of Native Americans in sports, like Bronson Canyon. He's the point guard for the Wisconsin Badgers basketball team. It's amazing just how much influence they have on their peers. A lot of like tribes and Native American country just looks up to these athletes because there's so few of them, and it's just amazing how big of a difference they can make just by their talents. And anyway, so on the narrow spectrum, controversy. It's team names like the Washington Redskins or the Cleveland Indians that are creating a world of controversy. People, Native Americans, are saying that those names are racist, and the people that stand behind the teams claiming that they carry tradition and they're honorable. Well, I don't understand how they're really honorable if Native Americans don't approve of them. If they don't think it's honorable, then how can they say it's honorable? That just doesn't make sense to me. And they also say, like the Washington Redskins owner, Daniel Snyder, says that the name carries too much tradition to be able to change. And you know, tradition shouldn't even matter when it comes to something like this. Like, this is pure racism. I mean, come on. So tradition shouldn't matter. I mean, tradition changes. I mean, if you change the name from the Redskins to something else, I mean, a new tradition will begin, and I mean, people over time will forget about it, and it doesn't make sense to me. And there are teams that have changed. Just a few big names that won't change are the Redskins and the Cleveland Indians. But teams that have changed are teams like the Marquette Golden Eagles. They used to be called the Marquette Warriors, from people that didn't know that, and now they're the Golden Eagles. And just like that, using that as an example, most people don't remember that Marquette used to be the Warriors. They all remember it was the Golden Eagles. So that past tradition has been forgotten, and this new one has caught on. So I don't understand that. But more locally, the Menominee Mustangs, they used to be called the Menominee Indians, and I think it was about 2011, they changed their name from the Indians to the Mustangs. And you know, like in the community, that caused some controversy, but you know, that controversy blew over and people forgot about it by now. So if teams like the Redskins and the Indians change their name, people will forget about it, and it won't be a big deal in the future. And there are some special cases, like the Florida Seminoles. They asked the Seminole tribe in Florida for permission to use the name, and they approved of it. They like the name. They're okay with it. So they're able to keep the name. And the Utah Running Utes, they also asked for permission, and they made a deal with the local Native American tribes that they'll increase recruitment of Native Americans and make it easier for them to go to college and things like that. So that's how they were able to keep their names. But anyway, the Cleveland Indians have changed. They haven't changed their name from the Indians, but they've changed their logo. Right here, their logo used to be this Chief Wahoo right here, but they didn't get rid of Chief Wahoo. They made their secondary logo behind this block C. So I don't think that's enough change personally, but people argue, and it's been going on for years. But My creative piece is I interviewed Mr. Stutzman about his views of this controversy. The reason I interviewed him is because walking through the halls, every day I noticed a sign on his door. There's this sign right here that says, "Indians are people, not mascots," and it's crossing out stereotypes in our school. And this is what intrigued me to go in and talk to Mr. Stutzman and see what he had to say, because obviously he had somewhat knowledge, and after interviewing him, I learned he has a lot of knowledge of this controversy, and he obviously has some kind of stance on it. And so that's why I interviewed Mr. Stutzman, and that's what I'm going to show you today is my interview. I had cut it down. It was pretty lengthy, but I cut it down to 2 questions, and yeah, so you can click on the other link, and that will be the interview with Mr. Stutzman. Thank you very much. And I also have a comic to show you, just kind of put this in perspective, the Cleveland Indians, so maybe you get a better view of it. This is it right here.